right, Cuzzo. So you've been killing it. All right. You have a new EP, Evolution, that just drops. Congratulations. Y'all can get it exclusively on Automac. But just talk to me about that. Like, you just dropped one and now you back with another one.
Yeah, you know what? The music has been doing really well. The streams has been doing well. I've gotten great feedback. So I just wanted to keep it coming, just keep it fresh. And, I got some great streaming platforms that are messing with the music. So it's been really cool.
That's dope. And so you were also the first WNBA player to have a song on NBA 2K. So like when you're writing music, like what do you do? Is it the same type of vibe you get in when you're about to go hoop or play in a game? Like how do you get in the right headspace to write music?
You know what? It's actually a therapy. So it's actually a good outlet outside of the game because basketball is so intense. You got the fans, you're in the moment, but like writing music, it just takes you to another place. So I would say they're like two different entities. Of course, I haven't done any live shows yet. I would probably say a live show would probably be like more like playing basketball with fans around and people yelling and screaming. So, but the music, it's therapy. It's really fun to create something from scratch and then see it come to life.
No, that's dope. So you mentioned live shows. So what kind of show do you think you're gonna put on? Like what kind of performer are you gonna be? Like, I'm just curious because like it's not like you can't perform in front of a crowd. You played in front of millions of people before. So this is interesting to me. Like, what kind of performer do you think you'll be?
That's really interesting. If I had to try to compare, I love how Rihanna does it, how she dances and her energy, and I just loved her halftime performance at Super Bowl. So I would love to keep the crowd entertained in that kind of way. But I would say that I wouldn't do any shows until I retire from basketball. So I'm not fully retired yet. I'm still got a lot of years yet left. So because I would save these knees until I retire.
Oh,
Jumping up and down on these knees and then playing basketball. So I would save shows for after the retirement.
All right, so after you retire, you're gonna move on to another live performance. That's live shows, but wait the knees, save the mega knees first. All right, so just one more. I know you're still hooping, and we're gonna get to hoop questions in a little bit. But I heard your song. I think I heard your song with Athletes Unlimited, right? Like I think that was your song on Athletes. I don't know, but I think either somebody had it playing or not. But what is it like when you just randomly hear your song somewhere? Like, has that happened to you? What is that moment like?
No, it was so cool. So my sister, she was in Ghana because she's married to a Ghanaian. So they went to go visit Ghana where he's from. And she walked past somebody in Africa and they heard the song. She was like, wait. She's like, let me hear that. She's like, that's my sister. She was like, how did you know about that? He's like, I just like the song and I downloaded it. So like stuff like that is like a really, really good feeling. It's really, really cool because like, let's keep it real, Renee. People don't take athletes who do music serious. You get what I'm saying?
Facts. Yeah. No, you're not lying.
Right. So it's good to take it seriously and really listen because, you hear athlete doing music, it's like, oh, here they go. You get that stigma.
That's interesting, though. I'm glad you brought that up because I think I saw that was one of your biggest challenges in music. You would think it would be like learning how the music game is, learning how to write, learning this. It was not the thing you said was your biggest challenge was getting people to take you as a two-time Olympian serious in the music game. And so can you talk about that? Because we have like Damian Lillard, we know that he raps, Iman Shumpert, we know he does music. So Lou Will does music. We're starting to see a lot more athletes show their talents.
Yeah, because people just have this tunnel vision of you. When you're successful at one thing, they just think you're just that one thing, right? So like let's use like Will Smith, for example. He was a rapper, but then he became an actor. Like they do many different things. So I think, people just got to get out of that tunnel vision of you and say, okay, that person wants to do this. Let's give it a chance. People are so quick to just be like, no, you just need to stick to basketball. You're a basketball player. But others have done me like you said. Damian Lillard has a great album. Lou Will, and I think too, like I think with the stigma, we've had some guys that have done in the past, and maybe people didn't receive it very well, if that makes sense. But I think now, like we're at a place where you can have a great music team around you and really give the audience what they want. That makes sense.
That's dope. So, Cuzzo, this is crazy because it's like we really were teammates. So it's dope to see everything you're doing. Who would be a feature you wanted? Like if you had a dream feature on one of your albums, who would you get?
You know what? I gotta go with, if I had to go with a female, I'm gonna go with Lauryn Hill because she's just so deep.
Okay.
Come on now. we got to go rock with Lauren because she always got a dope message. And if I had to go with a guy, I'm gonna go with J. Cole. I just like deep,
Ooh.
or Chance the Rapper. I like positivity, deepness in the music because, of course, I'm not saying people sound the same, but we do hear a lot of the same reciprocated messages, clubs and throwing money and all of that kind of stuff. Like, we want to get back to giving like the kids a message. Like, what are they going through? How do they inspire to be better? So I think that's what my music is like. My music is relating to a lot of the youth going through in adversity in sports, in life, and that's what they need to relate to.
Role models.
Yeah.
Okay. Come on. Like, y'all got to check it out. Check out her EP for real. All right. So you're talking about, you can hear now why you have a management company, Legacy, correct? And you talked about motivation and you talked about that next gen. And this is an all female sports and entertainment company that launched in January, right? So just talk to me about that. Like, you're doing things, Cuzzo. Talk to me.
It was more so because, I feel like, number one, living here in Atlanta so long, I got to connect with a lot of people, a lot of people in the production world, in the entertainment world. This is obviously an entertainment city. So with having those connections, I said, we got to do more to empower women and to continue to lift each other up. I just felt like, we got to do more of that. And what can we do to continue to use our network to help connections? So the management company is basically to help bring different connections to different women in the spaces they need and the creativity that they're in. So let's say, we get an artist. We have obviously the NBA 2K connections, Audio Mac, different things. If somebody want to get in music, somebody want to get in the movies, obviously I have the Lanier movie coming out. So we can pinpoint people to that in different production companies, things of that nature. So that's kind of what we're doing.
Dang, like that's lit. And you talked about it. You're an executive producer on a movie about Lake Lanier. Folks in Georgia know all about Lake Lanier. All right, man. Listen. So what's that been like in being a part of that project? And like, what is that whole experience? You got updates you can give us? When does it drop? Like, I want to know.
We actually just finished wrapping filming last weekend.
What?
Right, it's gonna be a great movie. As far as right now, we're getting ready to start the editing process, so I can't give you a direct date on when it's coming out just yet. But just know it will come out around like that fall Halloweenish end of the year time, around that time.
Ooh.
So, but yeah, I think it's gonna be a really great movie. We all know the history. What we're gonna do is shine light a little bit on the history of what really happened at Lake Lanier, and then also it's a scary movie too. So you're gonna be on your toes.
Oh, we know it's a scary movie. You don't have to tell us it's a scary movie. And I like that you guys are going to probably release it on spooky season.
Yep.
Can you tell us anybody that's acting in it? Anybody that we might know? Like, what's going on?
You know what? I want to keep that for the surprises. You know what I'm saying? But one thing I can tell y'all is that in the movie, the ancestors ain't playing with y'all. So just.
Let's go. I instantly thought about Beyonce's lines, but I digress. Okay, so the reason I'm asking you about all these different things is because I want people to be able to see how dynamic it is, what the things you're doing. These are all current things that you got going on right now. Another thing you got going on is Techie Homes. For people that don't know what that is, let us know what is that and what is your involvement?
Yeah, so basically it's the first Black-owned tiny community. It just started with an idea. Of course, people didn't believe in the idea at first. They were like, what is this? Whatever. But we crowdfunded the money by ourselves and raised it. And now you just see, it's called South Park Cottages. You can go to southparkcottages.com to see everything. High tech, they're tiny homes. They give you $1 million features. So you don't have to pay $600,000, $700,000 for a house. You can go ahead and get a tiny home, get $1 million features, and pay half the price. Like for example, I know condos in Buckhead maybe go for $3,000 a month. So why not get a home? You can own it, and then you pay half of that price for a home you own, and it's bigger than a condo. So that's what we're doing. We're going to start phase 2 now, and phase 2 will be in Union City, Georgia, in the South Side. So definitely check out for what's coming up with that.
Dang! And so I know people have say what?
Your coach Dale is going to be in one of them. So.
You are lying.
Dale just got one of Atlanta Dream coaches, so I'm really excited that he's in there.
This is crazy because I know that if y'all have seen them tiny home shows, like they do tiny
Mhm.
home makeover shows on all the networks like that, those HGTV type of networks. So tiny homes is a real thing. Like people, I've seen it on TV, but now it's kind of crazy that it's coming to life. I need to get in on this tiny home
Yeah,
business. Like it seems
yeah.
like something's going on over there, Cuzzo.
Is that it's black owned and we did everything ourselves. So we didn't have a bank. So therefore we make our own rules. And that's the beauty
Wow.
of it. And the fact that it's the first black owned tiny home community, that's really, really special. So yeah, Renee, we gotta get you in there, man.
That's crazy. All right, let's get to the thing. Everybody's probably like, yeah, yeah, whatever. What about the basketball? Let's get to
Right.
some basket. Let's get to some basketball, man, because I don't even know if people know this, but we played against each other all the time. Back in the Big East, like back and forth, and even so much so that our NCAA championship game our senior year was against each other. A Big East championship, Louisville versus UConn. Like, what do you remember about your senior year and like that game and just like what do you remember?
Besides y'all kicking our butts.
Yeah,
Um
I mean, there's a whole season that happened. You made it to the championship game. We're talking about the
yeah,
Final Four, so you made
I
it to the
know what I
championship
remember.
game.
Yeah, I remember just being able to defy the odds because going to Louisville wasn't a team that was on the map during that time. Obviously now they are, but during that time that wasn't a team that had never been. They had never been past the first round of the tournament when I signed there. So to be that far was obviously just one of the best things that happened in the university. And then to get to the national championship game, that was just awesome. And to beat people that nobody expected us to beat. We weren't supposed to beat Oklahoma, LSU, Maryland with Marissa Coleman. So I mean, that was it was just great memories to be a part of that.
Now you said Oklahoma. I think that was the group where it was the Paris twins, Danielle
Right.
Robinson, LSU. I forget who was on the squad for LSU that year.
Alyssa Hightower was during that time.
Allison
Allison,
Hightower.
Allison Hightower, yep.
Yeah, and then you said Maryland, Christy Tolliver,
Yes.
Marissa Coleman.
Yes.
Crystal Langhorn had gone by that point because she's a year
Yes.
older than us. But I'm talking about these names that y'all are hearing. These are names that people like Danielle Robinson plays on Atlanta right now. So these are names of players that are like were
Oh,
stars in the
yeah.
game.
You talking about Louisville team that nobody knew anybody's name. We didn't have any stars. We just really, really worked hard and tried to outwork people, and it really worked for us. But now the rest is history. That Louisville's now, you wouldn't think that during that time, but they're just on the map now. And, they're up there with the UConns and the Tennessees and the South Carolinas now. So that's really cool to see that the legacy has lived on.
Definitely. I mean, talk about it. Your team had a great run, Van Lith, the whole
Mhm.
squad. Like, I mean, you're right though. To your point, Louisville wasn't necessarily the Louisville people know now. You
Right.
said your team didn't have no stars. Angel, we're gonna get to it, but you were the number one pick in the draft, girl, in my draft. So they
Mhm.
did have a star, a superstar, or like you were a mega star then, but your squad is still kicking. Like, talk about their run.
Man, they had a great run, because they struggled a little bit this season, but to make the Elite Eight was really, really cool. I just felt like it's Caitlin Clark's time. You can just tell it's her time and it's her moment to be there, and she's played so well, and she deserves it to be there. Obviously, it's going to be tough against South Carolina, but at least, she gets to experience the Final Four no matter what happens in the next round.
Facts. And so we're talking March Madness, but we're WNBA players, and I don't know if people understand how quick of a turnaround draft day was. So you played in the championship game too, so you can like literally know what I'm talking about when you play in the championship game, then you're signing with agents,
Woo!
you're picking like what you're going to wear to the draft. What was that time like for you? Did you know you were going to be the number one pick? Like, was it kind of like the
Um,
people?
Yeah, you know what? That's the craziest, most funnest time of your life. And I did get the call before that. Yeah, Atlanta's probably gonna pick you number one. But people don't know during the draft, each team gets 2 minutes. So if your 2 minutes go out, the next team gets to come up. So when I'm waiting to hear, the time is dwindling, and 2 minutes is almost up. I'm like, did they change their mind? I'm nervous. I'm like, what in the world is going on? Then finally, at like the last 30 seconds, um, they wound up getting the call through. So I asked them, what happened? Y'all? I said, I was nervous. They were like, we couldn't get through the call. The line kept being busy. They kept trying to call through. I was like, y'all about to lose that spot to Washington.
What?
So, but I did get a little bit of the heads up from coach that they were probably gonna pick me number one, which is really cool.
Yeah, that's dope. I love that's first of all, that's wild that if the line is busy. I'm gonna need y'all to open up the line, the prayer lines. What was you were there with me then for that rookie orientation. Do
Mhm.
you remember that? I'm gonna just be honest.
Like,
So I'm gonna tell you guys, it was hard to stay awake because y'all got to remember I was you like UConn. We had just had the championship parade. We're celebrating. Then I'm getting
that's
in a
right.
car going to New York, and we have the presentations going on. It was a long day. Do you remember anything about that time?
I think it was just really kind of exhausting, but you go off that adrenaline because you're excited at the same time that everything's going on. But it's just so much you got to do. It's so much because you're going from one season to the next right away. There is no break in between. So it's definitely
That's
it was
facts.
a lot.
That's facts. And so, just real quick, I think that a lot of people are projecting Aaliyah Boston as the number one pick of the draft. Would you agree that that's probably going to be? Would that be your number one pick?
I would say that would be my number. If I'm a GM of Indiana, I'm gonna go definitely go with Boston. She's obviously a household name. She's marketable. She plays hard. She's a player that can help a franchise. So I would definitely go with Boston.
Boom. And speaking of that, players like I think Boston had made it to camp at a certain point. You went to USA basketball camp. It was held in Minnesota recently. You
Mm-hmm.
let everyone know that you're healthy, that you're back. What were the vibes like? What did it feel like to be back on the court? How's your body feeling? Like
Yes.
all of it.
Well, I remember during that time. That was last season, last year or something like that. And I remember telling Boston, I said, "How do you feel?" She said, I'm a little gassed." She's like, "This pace is a little different." She's like, "Very fast than what I'm used to." I said, "All you got to do is keep going, and you just get used to it." I said, "Get used to it now, so then when you come to the league, you will know what it's about. So this is good that you're here now." So that was good. And then this last training camp, really, really played well. I really showed that my knees are healthy. I was athletic, quick. I look really, really good. So I am waiting for that call. Somebody call me now. I'm here. Got it. I'm energetic. I'm 25 again, so I'm waiting, and I'm excited to get back in that court. It's been a while, so I'm really, really excited to just get in the hardwood, sweat, feel the fans, help a team, and just bring that veteran leader that a team might need.
It's interesting because I was just recently talking to DeMarcus Cousins, and
Mm-hmm.
then I was talking to Isaiah Thomas, and then I was talking to one other person about the idea of athletes that are ready to go. All of those players, DeMarcus Cousins said it on the broadcast. He was like, "Look, I'm ready to go right now. If an NBA team needs a big man," he said the same thing too. A veteran, Isaiah Thomas. We remember Isaiah Thomas had that magical run with the Celtics, and so like players are talking about that veteran leadership for fans that might not understand what Udonis Haslam has done in the past for the Miami Heat and different players of that nature. I know you still, like you said, got gas in the tank. You ready to still play too, but what is veteran leadership to a team? Like how important, like, can you explain like the importance of that?
Yeah, I think a good championship team doesn't have all vets or doesn't have all young players. There's a mix of both. It's a perfect balance. You got to have both to be a championship team. And I think what that veteran does, a veteran's not worried about, oh, how many minutes I'm getting on the court, or they're not worried about, I got to score 20. Been there, done that. Everybody knows what I've done. That's how we vets think. Let the young ones get theirs. You know what I'm saying? And you still contribute and still help win. But I think it's more so too of the leadership during the adversity, because there will be adversity. And I think so. Who's that voice in the locker room, right? When things get heated or get tough, you have that calm for the storm. And I think that's what a vet brings. And I think that's what Haslam brings. Like, people complain, oh, why is he still there, retired? But maybe they need him for just the locker room. And if that's what the team needs, that's what they need. And people don't see through that part, if that makes sense.
No, I mean, like, look, you was preaching to us for a second. I like that because it's true, though. I mean, anybody that's on a team knows the importance of a glue player that might not get a lot of stats, the importance of a vet on a team that calms the locker room down. Speaking of that, like, so what was it like? Like, we played together.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting. What kind of teammate am I? I'm just going like it's.
No, you're a great teammate. I think you're a great point guard, a great leader for us. Especially, I loved how during adversity you huddled us in and really gave us a good talk to bring us back. That was really, really needed, especially for me, because I needed that person that knew how to pull me in and sometimes calm me down when I'm heated, because we all get heated in the moment and you passionate about the game. So I think you were that player that knew how to just kind of grab my drink. Hey, I need you to do this, or cut here, or do that. And that's what a real point guard does. That's what a real leader does. So I would say overall, you were a great teammate, great leader, and you really were. I would say you were like a glue player that kept everybody together.
I appreciate that. I think that might be the first time I was called a glue player, not in the sense of like Most people just call me a point guard, but people don't usually equate point guards with glue players, even though a point
Mhm.
guard, your point guard pretty much better be a type of glue player to keep the team
So I
together.
would say for
Uh,
Atlanta, because you really kept us, you really glued us together and kept us in a lot of moments because there was adversity and you really was like that glue player. But of course, being a point guard and a leader as well. But for Atlanta, you were that for us, and that's what was missing, and that's what we needed. If that made it
No,
make
I
sense.
mean, it's funny you say that because we putting it lightly where we had some adversity going on, y'all. Like for us to have the run we did, it's unbelievable how we put it together on the court. But that's the thing, like that's people don't understand that there is going to be friction and that's normal in sports. But now that there's phones and cameras everywhere and you see every argument that every teammate has, it's like a whole like it's like I've seen plenty of teammates argue, like it's no big deal.
I
But
like it a
now
little
it'll
bit.
get
Yeah, you need a little bit of it because it's just like this in life. Like if you have a partner, you're in a relationship, y'all don't argue a little bit. You don't have growth in the relationship, right? It's like
Oh my gosh. Serena's going to be like probably jumping up and down right now because I tell her I would love to never argue. Like I would love
just a little
to.
bit, just because it gives you the growth. You know, if it's always just like this, you got to get uncomfortable to grow, if that makes sense. So
No, I know you guys are right. Like, hello, shrinking. I know you guys are right. Oh, that reminded me of speaking of Serena. I want to get this here live on while we're recording. You were with me sitting courtside at the Hawks game, right? When I met Serena Grace, my now wife, right? Now, I just had Darius Slay on the pod 2 weeks ago, and he didn't even know that I met Serena that day. So whenever
what?
I don't understand. I know. So, Cuzzo, please, so that people don't think that I be making this story up. Did I look over at Serena and then what did I say to you?
You you were just like, I think you were just like flabbergasted. You was just like in a. I was kind of looking at you like, hey, you what's good? You all right? You were just kind of like in amazement because when we were at the game, we were front row, courtside in the house game, and she had sung the national anthem. So I'm just like, oh, she's a great singer. But you were like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You said that. You said to me that you was like, that's my wife.
That's the line that I needed you to say. Yes. People don't. I was like,
yeah, Renee, I was like looking at you like you're crazy because I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm like, she just told me that. What do you mean that's your wife? Well, guess what? You were freaking right. So I was the one crazy for looking at you crazy for saying that.
let's go. I be telling people it's the wildest story ever because the fact that I was sitting beside you and Darius Slay, first of all, that was wild because we didn't all come together to the game. Like it wasn't like we linked up all and drove to the game together. Then the fact that she was singing, by the way, the national anthem at the Hawks game for a Spanish Heritage Night. So
No,
y'all need to collab. Y'all need to collab on a song now that I thought about that. That's just
I need to
a
get her.
side note.
We getting that done. That's done.
Okay, so but can you believe like how life so happened that now she is my real life actual wife?
It's like when a person knows they know, you know what I mean? And you knew. And even though I was looking at you with the side, I'm like, girl, you all right? You just know. And I think that, it's a feeling that you know on the inside that nobody else can ever know. How could I know how you feel? Like you just knew. So, and then
That's what's crazy because it's like I be seeing the movies like y'all. It's so weird because it's like I'm not even really like. Well, you knew me before I met Serena. I'm not really the like fall in love type like that. I don't know how else to put it.
no, I'm living, I'm having a good time, I'm living my best life. We were having
Yeah,
fun. I'm like, okay. He was like, I'm living my best life. But somehow
I
this
was living my best life.
hard. And I think that when you just meet the one, they can just put a halt on anything. Like
It's
when you fall in love,
crazy.
it just your world stops. And that's what happened. You have literally like fell in love at first sight. Like you taught me that is real because I wasn't sure if that really existed.
Me
And,
neither.
right? And you taught me there is love at first sight, and you found that. And
Wow.
I was just like, what? But now I'm like, wow, like amazed to see like you really just knew.
Okay, because I'm so glad that I have this recorded now for the forever in time because people be thinking that it's wild that even too that we just walked up and started talking to them like because now with the social media age people be like you really just walked up but yeah so that's now
Yes.
we have it like it's like yeah we really did that but I'm happy that you were there Cuzzo because the vibes the energy was right going up there the last thing final four predictions On the men's side, who you got? We have San Diego State is going against Florida Atlantic University, and then on the other side of the bracket, UConn's going against Miami. Who you got in the championship? Who you got winning?
I have San Diego State versus, I'm sorry, Renee, I'm going to go with Miami. I know. Well, I'm glad UConn is back because I know they had a long journey getting back from them Calhoun days. You know what I'm saying? So, because during our era, they was always there. Like during our era, when we played.
Yeah, they was legit.
Always there. And I know that, they had a little bit of a little break getting coaches together, but I'm glad they're back. But I hope they prove me wrong. I do have Miami though. On the women's side, I'm gonna go with South Carolina and LSU. On that side.
Oh, so you got the what do they call her? The Bayou Barbie, Angel Reese, who just recently set a record for the SEC in double doubles.
Come on now, Angel Reese is from Baltimore like me. She went to my high school like me. That's my little baby. You know what I'm saying?
Wait a minute.
She trash like me.
Wait a minute. I didn't even realize this.
Baby. Come on. Angel Reese. Okay.
What? All right. So first of all, then you are the perfect person to ask because a lot of people, she said that, she's from Baltimore. This is what we do. We talk trash. A lot of people were making comments about how she played the game and how she talked trash during the game, but you're from the same place she is. So talk to us. Like, what's that?
But this is the thing, Renee, during my era, our era, that wasn't common. So you get labeled as, oh, she's uncoachable. She got a bad attitude. No, this is how we play. Yeah, we from Baltimore. We talk trash. That's how we grew up. We play passionate. We give it our all. We don't care. And that's how she plays. But in her era, she gets to enjoy it a little better than in our era. So I'm glad of that though. And hey, it goes viral. It goes viral now playing like that. So I'm just glad we're at a point where women's basketball doesn't have to be like, oh, she can't be like that because the men do it. Let the girls play like that too.
Big lit, man. I'm going to leave it on that, man. Listen, the EP Evolution is out right now on Audio Mac. Cuzzo, man, you're killing it. I know that you said you still got some left in the tank, so I know you still have that, but on the other side of things too, that future is bright. So I'm happy, Cuzzo. I'm happy for you, man. Thank you for joining me here.
Thank you for having me on. I appreciate y'all.